Hi folks, welcome back to Biblical Britain. Right, okay, I've got to apologise. The last video, first off, was meant, I put it as part 1 and part 2, but it obviously cut off in the centre. I meant to put it on pause and obviously hit the stop button. And that's why it sort of cut short, and the other one starts from without any introduction. So, but please, if you haven't watched it, part 1, I noticed there's more people watch part 2 than part 1, maybe not knowing that obviously they were meant as one video. However, following on from that, there's something. This video is going to be more about the atlas and the message and a ton of other code that I'm getting bombarded with at the moment. But I've had something revealed to me that needs to be put out first and ties beautifully with the last message, the last one that I did. I'm gonna, well, you'll see what I mean when I do it. Okay, right, let's get it done. But what I'm about to tell you, what I'm about to show you, is prophecy from the Bible that connects with the land and the stars. There's no coincidence, guys and girls. This is real, and it actually is showing up now in world events as well, as I will show you. Okay, just a little recap for those who didn't see it. So please, if you've seen the video with this first bit, stick with me, because, like I say, this message is probably one of the strongest messages that I've had, to be honest, and one of the most important messages. Right. Okay. Firstly, atlas is the word atlas is a last, basically. I need to point this out as well. You've got some poor chap here holding the weight of the world, funny enough, called Atlas, a last, because he's carrying the last message written in the land on his shoulders, basically, and without exaggeration, this is where I am. How I got you, I honestly don't know. Things are starting to reveal to me that are making more and more sense, but ultimately, this is what it's about. I'm carrying a last message. Hey, right, okay. So the last message is written in the land, and I'm about to show you in the most incredible way how this all links up. Okay, right, firstly we need to go to the beginning of the last video, and as I pointed out, we had, and I need to do this quickly, chemis inferior ties with it's Ursa major, but when you unscrabble it, it's a Rus minor. Okay, now the important part here is this is called the little bear. This will become apparent what this means now. Okay, so this is actually, like I say, the place is called chemis inferior. You can find it on a map. It's not far from Kyle-Went, where the safe zone is, and Llanmelin. Let's just tidy that up. And this is Keys inferior. Okay. Right, without further ado, I'm just going to, without further ado, let's go. So the other one was, right, I'm just going to put this one as the decoded chemis, Marco Mend. Right, chemis commander is Marco Mend Keys. Okay, like I say, bear in mind, just off to the side of, or to the somewhere down from this one, you've also got a fort with a great big, I'm not going to do the key, it's not that type of key, but if you look at the fort from the air, it is exactly that. It's a key, and it's a key to everything, unbelievably. More to come on that. Okay, Marco Mendy Keys this ties with the star Ursa, which is decoded as A Rus and Major. This one is obviously, when you put this together, is Chemi's commander. So this is a major and a commander, indicating military. Okay, right, it's also called, I'm running out of space here, it's also called the Great Bear. Okay, this is done to connect the two, okay, because the Great Bear, well, let's start with the little bear. The little bear lives in Jerusalem, the decoded Jerusalem, okay. His job, which I'm doing right now, is an SIA, and I've got a code to identify that in the land as well to tell me to do it, but I'll show you that in a little while. Okay, so we've got a little bear who's a Rus SIA, a security guy, that basically Security Industry Authority. Okay, but you've got a great bear called Russia. As you can see, they're both the same. They're both a Rus SIA and a Rus SIA. This is showing that at some point that these well, I did say in the last video that these are going to meet in some way, shape or form. And a vision I had, and like I said, I don't talk about visions normally, was Russian helicopters in the field opposite me dropping in food, which would be the SIA, some sort of security, you know, to help. I don't know, but and as bizarre as this sounds, well, you'll see now how this all links up with the Bible. Okay, right, okay. So let's go on from there. So basically the little bear is going to be right. How do I go about this one? Right, let's start with the Bible passage. Let's just put it right. Let's get back to scratch on this. Okay, so we got Russia and a Rus SIA, and by some way or another, I'm going to show you how this is all going to come to pass, and this is a prophecy without a doubt. Okay, well, if we go to Hosea 13:8, it says, "I will meet them as a bear bereaved of her whelps." Okay, so what we need to do, right, the bottom line with this is, what's going on at this point in time is that Finland and Sweden are both basically been I think they've been offered, or it's all being tied up, that they're going to join NATO. Now NATO has said that if they, Russia has said if they do, there's going to be like serious repercussions, and I don't know what he said altogether, but it wasn't good. Like that's the bottom line of it. Right. Well, the message. Right. Hang on, I sort of got this a little bit the wrong way around on which one. Right. Let's go to Daniel 7:5. Okay. It says. Bear with me. It says. Like unto a bear, it raised itself up on one side with 3 ribs in its mouth, and to devour much flesh. Right, okay. What are the ribs in it? Right, let me show you first. This is Russia, and this is the big bad bear. And obviously there's going to be, I don't know, obviously this is all Russia, but there's the head, and you've got the mouth, whatever, and he's growling and whatever. Right, off Russia, next you have Finland, which actually comes down some, like I say, ignore what you're going to have to put up with my drawing, it's not the best, but you've got one, as I remember it, then you've got Norway, and you've got, I think it's Sweden or something like this. Well, these are the 3 ribs. This is the Great Bear, and he's put his paw out effectively, and he's going to and basically devour. Awful drawing, but he's going to devour much flesh. Why does it say devour much flesh? And how are these 3 countries in the bear's mouth. Right, well, it tells you a story, and there's a coded story here of how this is going to happen. So be sure they're going to join, these two are going to join NATO. And bear in mind, this is Great, the top, I don't know, Great Britain, whatever, and G-Root, etc. is here. Right, okay, the first country is Finland. The second one is Sweden, and this one is Norway. Right, what is the clue in all this? Well, firstly, this one is we ends. These are all anagrams for anybody new, so you just take Sweden, mix it up, and it comes out with we ends. Okay. Right, Finland. This one's a little bit more complex, but the Bible does indeed cover it, or the Old Testament does indeed cover it. Okay, it says devour much flesh. Well, firstly, Finland has Finnish people, and that is part of the clue in it. Well, it's unfinished people, basically. So they're the Finnish people. So the clue of these is in there. But just to back this up, it also says devour much flesh. Well, where is the flesh? Well, the flesh is in the word Flemish, because they're also Flemish people. So when you unscrabble this, it actually says, I'm flesh. So what this is saying is, well, obviously it ties it, so devour much flesh. So the bear is going to devour all these three nations basically, and the ribs represent the carcass of the nations, I suppose, because they won't exist anymore when Russia goes busting through there. Okay, what is Norway? Well, this one, and this is where we start to get, well, where this prophecy is all coming to now, bear in mind, you've got me, Keys Inferior, and Kenny's Commander, and here's Roos, and here's Melin, and all this bit. This is all by here. Norway is on our way. So when you see these three countries being taken, Norway isn't planning to join NATO. He's already in NATO. But sure, you are not. The Russian bear is going to take out these. He's already in a war with the. By the way, the King of the North is Russia. In Daniel says something about the King of the North pushes down, I think, and the King of the South pushes up. The King of the North is Russia. He's talking of Europe at this point. King of the North, he says that I will send a people that speak a language that you do not understand, an ancient people. Well, the Russians are more ancient. I got a feeling, I'm pretty sure they link back somewhere to the Sayuri, so maybe they're just coming home, I don't know. But King of the North versus is Russia, and the King of the South it's the Vatican, is the evil Vatican, because they're behind all of this, I can tell you now, and they're the ones that starting this war to Exall, and they're the most evil organisation on this planet, bar none, and they are the seat of Satan. Satan sits there, but either way, South, Vatican and Europe. Okay, because it says the King of the North pushes down or comes down, and obviously if they're attacking him from this way, the Europe is going to obviously respond from underneath. I do think the word rush in Russia is because this is going to be quick, and I don't think this is going to take long to just, because as on the subject of bears and cubs, I also get that where the Ukraine, basically, this is Russia toying with them. They've sent their cubs, their inexperienced troops in, their lesser troops, while the daddy bear, or mother bear as it turns out, mother bear of the motherland, this is mother bear. And this is why Hosea 13:8 says, I will meet them as a bear bereaved of her whelps. Now, I will decode whelps in a minute, but I will meet them as a bear. So if you've got mummy bear, for want of a better description, or mother Russia bear, she's coming down. Anything that stands in her way, he's going to basically, don't forget the daddy, this is why he says, I will meet them as a bear bereaved of her whelps. So this is the sort of daddy bear of Yah, in working through the mummy bear and the anger of anything that basically is getting in the way, is live by the sword, die by the sword. Some will go into captivity because they're going to get overrun before they get here, but obviously the things will pan out if you're meant to be here. But basically anything that stands in the way, and the British Army, believe me, will not stand against these. This is going to be one almighty mash-up, really. This is a safe zone though, so you can be sure, rest assured, that's why it's a safe zone, because Daddy Bear obviously is in control of Mummy Bear as well, and as it cools down. Okay, so this is the code, not only for well, I'll show you the rest of the bereaved of her whelps there, what the whelps means, but obviously this is the prophecy in Daniel, and this is the bear. He stands up on one side, I think it is, and where you gone? Sorry folks, just bear with me because I've got so much going on. Yeah, right, like unto a bear, raised itself up on one side with 3 ribs in it, with 3 ribs in its mouth, and to devour much flesh. Well, there's your own flesh. That's your Flemish. Sweden, then we ends. So he's obviously devoured it, devoured much flesh. And then basically they're going to sweep through Norway, not going to leave these behind, obviously, because they're part of the other team. And they're going to come in then, and they're on our way and into Scotland. And there's probably all code in that as well, but I don't know. There's a lot of K's in Scotland, I noticed, especially in the islands. And the K is not good, as generally. But there we go. Anyway, obviously, the people of the north will obviously be pushed down, obviously, and this is how I think this is how they're going to get there. And they say some are going to get overrun. The danger, and this is why there is a mine in the south, because this has not only become a mine, which is a pit, and when he talks to the end time, he talks of the pit, get you out of the pit. And this is why a rope needs to go down in the mine, type thing, to lead them out, so they know where to go. Because when Europe pushes up from underneath, obviously most people, unless you know of this code, you know you're gonna go away from the Russians coming in from. They're going to run that way, not go this way. So the emphasis on the chambers in the south, and the Shaftesbury being safety be Roos, and then you've got iPod or Wales and the rest of it off the other code. Basically, that's to tell that you obviously need to go this way to get there, not run behind and let the NATO, because NATO are going to push up from the south. Okay, and then you're going to end up in a bear pit as well. That's it, where all the animals are fighting, and that's another reason for the word pit, because all these animals that are described in Daniel, obviously we know the bear is, the lion, I don't know if that's Britain, I would obviously assume. They're getting involved, but they ain't going to last long. And then you've got, or they might do, I don't know, because they might join in, I don't know, but there's going to be one awful mess. But whatever happens, this is the Combined Nations, where the Combined Nations safe code sits. Right, let me just get in and do the next part. I've got some new pens, which are not helping me, but at least you can see this. Okay, right, now the little bear is in charge, well, is the one with the whelps, basically. Oh, right, this is where, so the Chemy's commander, Chemy's commander is to the north of all the other codes as well. So this is the Russian, the great, this is the Great Bear, the Russia Great Bear coming in from the north. And we've now gone condensed down. Now we're looking at where the safe, roughly where the safe zone is, or where it is, this area. Right, so the Great Russia, the Great Bear is in Britain, basically. Oh yes, and while I think of it, okay. This is where it started, and this has also got code in it. Because this is not nothing to do with these are not there, but this ties with this one. because this says are in UK. So Russia are in UK, and this is where it all begins. And this is then it escalates and goes the other way. Well, they're still fighting here. They're holding this line. I don't know. And what you've got as well. Anybody's wondering why America's not getting involved in this. Firstly, you've got Draco, which is the Caldera debate. This is the Draco L. It's not only it is obviously Caldera. This is Draco L. So this represents dragons. There's two dragons at play. I've realised one is the Elven Welsh, but there's also a bigger dragon at play here, and this is on the side. What you've got then here is Cornwall, which represents ancient Egypt, which it was. Biblical Egypt is Cove of Cornwall, not the Egypt we know, but the modern day Egypt would be those that worship the false idol Ra, or the false well, let's just switch it, but that's dollar. That's why the dollar's called the dollar, and the god they trust is Horus. The Amen Ra is what they call, the god is Amen Ra. It's not the Yahweh is the creator. What they've done is they deceived us, and the son of Amen Ra was Horus, and that's why there is an eye on my shark. The shark is on my big map, which gives you gives you the safe zone inside. Is also it's just a giant shark with the eye of Horus. Well, I realised because Leviathan is the shark itself, that represents Rome, but the eye of Horus represents who they're actually worshipping, the sun god, and the sun god of, and this is why they say Amen, and why they've got you saying Amen, because what you're doing, and this is why I hate to say it, but Jesus says Amen, because the God he's speaking to is Amen Ra. And he's the Horus, and this is just the devil in new clothes, basically. Devil and Lucifer in new clothes. But anyway, but ultimately what you've got is you've got the Chinese dragon keeping the US at bay, because they're going to be at war as well. I'm sure there's more to come on that, but that's what this small sort of map of this area represents. They're keeping them at bay because these two are fighting over here, while Russia's coming into Europe, and so on and so forth. It's all symbolic. Right, it says, I will run the bear, bereave the whelps. Okay, so as I say, sorry, I've scrubbed it off, but we got Ursa Major on Miki's, or Kenny's commander, Miki's commander. The commander of the Major is Russia, coming in from the north. That's where Kenny's commander is against the map. Then you've got a Rus SIA, who is the little bear. That's the great bear. This is the constellation of the great bear. That's the constellation of the little bear. Right, but he says so obviously Mother Bear is coming down, and this is the space where maybe the military being condensed to, but they got no chance of stopping Mother Bear with Daddy Bear Yah behind them, because he just needs. This is how it's all meant to play out. For what reason, I don't know, but either way. Right, now we need to work out what he means by bereaved of her whelps. Well, this is the little bear who's looking after the whelps, because the whelps, it's a strange word, this, and it appears a couple of times with lions as well, but I think it all relates to the same thing. So the whelps, so firstly, is, even though it double uses this letter, it's we helps. Okay, so it's just saying that they're helping with this whole thing of basically railroading us out of slavery. As bizarre as that sounds, because you're hearing a lot more from the media. But bear in mind, what Yah says in one passage is, there's the fort of Jerusalem. It's all to do with this, Jerusalem. It has a north, south, east, and a west gate. And this is to do with and he says, my enemies compass me about. So not only is he giving it an ID for what he's talking about, the fort, but the enemy is the NEWS, the news. And this is so well planned, and this is why they're called media, because it's a me or ID me or me idea, a me ID. So an ID for me is my enemies compass me about. The news are lying to us, bottom line, and I don't care what anyone says. This what's going on out there is all obviously we're getting one-sided. Or they ditched all of the channel, so I've got to be careful what I say on here, but I don't want to get banned off it. But you can certainly see what he meant by that. So we're not getting the full story, and there's certainly the Great Bear is being a lot more careful going into the crane, incidentally. There's a crane roost, because that's also in the UK. So the crane is they're obviously being a lot more. If they wanted to, they could have done what the Egyptians, which I just pointed out down there, did in the place next to I ran to the store. If you can understand that, I ran to the store. But there's a place next to it that they've literally absolutely annihilated, along with the Russians that have drawn the line now as well, because that's what that was about, to stop the expansion into the Middle East. Anyway, without getting into politics, let's work out. Okay, so who are the little bears? The whelps. Right, number one is wee helps. Right, in Daniel. Right, in Daniel as well, I think it's Daniel, yes, it is Daniel somewhere. It gives you, it says, it talks about a talent of lead. Well, this is actually a code. It not only is this all tent, because this is to do with my my tribe tent, and the meeny tackle up fasten code, which all backs it up. Basically, it's talent. There's also a talent. It's called a talent of lead. Okay, it's more than one code in this. Be right. So when you go and look at lead, you go to the periodic table. It gives you a PB. The lead is periodic table PB. What this is telling you is to switch a P and a B effectively. Now, amazingly, or not ironically, amazingly, in Welsh, my daughter taught me. She taught me that there's something called a soft mutation, which does exactly the same thing as this. And what it allows you to do is change a P and a B at the beginning of a sentence. Incredibly, tied it again. This is so unbelievably ties to Wales. Okay, so we have whelps. So I'm going to move the P to the beginning and turn it to a B. And then we have, what we have left is be Welsh. Okay, simple anagram, be Welsh. So the little bit, the Roos SIA, I guess, is the senior cub, or I don't know, whatever, me. And then you've got, obviously, in his care, security, if that makes sense, in his care are all the people that are basically getting sort of coming down and what have you. But this is where the cubs are, the baby bears, basically, the net, which is the same zone where they are. So the mother is coming down, and you can imagine an angry mother bear followed by an angry daddy bear as well, with those that are in the way. Literally going to come through basically and rescue the cubs. I know it sounds bizarre, and Russia's been made up the bad guy. I don't like war, but I think there's a lot more behind this than meets the eye. But this all fits perfectly with the end time prophecy as I'm showing you. Okay, and I think for now that ties up that part of it. Okay. Right, now as if you couldn't make things up, and just when I think I've got all the me keys and the fort and everything else, and bear in mind, 2 weeks ago, I can't remember, when I found, I said Chepstow, and it was, what was it, CH, we stop, asking me why I was stopping. Well, obviously at that time, it's just making a point that I was a little stuck, and I said it at the time, like, well, where do you want me to go? Then I end up with a bit of video, but I'm just getting bombarded at this point, and this matrix really is opening up. But it's obviously opening up, let me just do, just to show, I just want to show you something. Just to show you that this SIA thing with my badge is not made up, and how I work this out, you tell me. There's a place near Bethlehem called Hafford Bridge. Okay, and that says ID badge for H. These are all place names near Bethlehem, just to show you. I've got so much paperwork with place names on it, breaking open. It's untrue. I've got to try to get it in order somewhere. Right, ID badge for H. Okay, so well, I'm working in right now in Corsham. You see all the Yes Atlas as well that goes with this. Well, this is Marco's H when you unscrabble it. And I am currently working as an SIA. And so Marco's H is working as an SIA in Corsham, so that's one tyre. What incredibly, now, and like I say, this take, well, it took some sinking in for me. Where has it gone? Bear with me. Okay, right. Isaiah. Oh, hang on, I've spelled that wrong, that won't help. Where are we? Bear with me, guys and girls. I-S-A-I-A-H. Okay, Isaiah. This is all coded as well, these books. This is why you got to book a job, or Job, a job basically. This is I-H-A-S-I-A, and that's why you got the Book of Job, which is I rest my case, and I'm not kidding. Nehemiah is something like he names me a H, or he names I. Must be it's something along them lines. But I realised that coming down in the books, you've got all the historical bit, and then it starts hitting everything with a H on the end. Well, this is all to do with the H man, and if you've seen the code for that, it's a pretty undeniable. Comes with the spear and everything. And on that subject, right? Okay, moving swiftly on to things written in the pictures in the land. I'm about to show you one that is absolutely, well, unbelievable, and leads me nearly 2 years to where I first had, and I kid you not, it was around this time 2 years ago that listening to the story of Moses on a headset, and I realised that Mount Sinai wasn't Sinai. Wasn't sign high, it was a sign high, and it was a recon beacon. And as you know from, if you've been watching these videos, this recon, measuring Israel basically. And I could go into a million codes from this, but it's be a recon beacon. Well, I found the beacon, and it's on the most unbelievable places. Right, and it's all coded as always in the land. Okay. And, just quickly as well. No, I'll come back to that. Right, the beekeeping recon. No, actually, this ties in. Right, Llanfair Kilgeddin is G-Ran Enkil Orvid. G-Ran Enkil Orvid. Well, that was the video that I ran about 2 ago. That basically said Raxall, War Exall, and Fail, and the nicer secret written in Cirencester. Okay, there as well as that, in the same, this is all in and around the Meakeys inferior area. You've got Marco, Roos, and all the rest of it. Well, we got what's the just spell this thing? God, these take some breaking sometimes. I get put to the right place, but it lets me do some of the right. And this took some, because from that you think, what the heck word can you pull out, or what can you pull out of that? Well, it's YG led. Why I was led to G Roots, because I got there, as I will show you, to become a recon beacon and show you where the safe zone is. And this says war. That's why I've been led there. So I can go there, set up the beacon basically, as you'll see, and I'm going to show you where that is. And it's unbelievable. Okay, then you've also got this one is G Fear War. I'm not fearing it for me, people. I'm fearing it for everyone else. I'm in the safe zone. I live there, and well, as you'll see, I will show you where the beacon is. But obviously, people need to get this message out. If it were, there's the most important message in world history. I kid you not. And if I am proving beyond any reasonable doubt that this is in fact Atlas A last message, then I don't, I just don't know what to do. But I can only do what I can do. But this is prepping everyone so they know where to go when you see this. Well, I hate to say it, but when you see the Russians coming, you know not to head south, to head to this place, basically. Okay, so G for your war. So there's a couple of more things on the, and that's all in the same as land vehicle getting, which is GRAN, which and I got that the week after I obviously did run the end all kill vid. Okay, back to the B recon beacon. Okie dokie. Right, okay, 3 places, and this is how I found it. Well, I found the first one, but I didn't have a clue. Well, I sort of had a hint of where it was going, but I didn't realise at the time, but this is all time. So, the first place is Earl's Wood. This says, seal word. Okay, now instantly from seal word, I pretty much knew what it was. I thought it's got to, well, I'm not 100%, but I thought it's got to be G-Rus or Rusilum, because obviously that's like the sort of the key to unlock a lot of this. However, I was right, but not realising it at the time, because 2 is Summerlees. These are places encoded on the map, which all link up to draw a picture now, which leads to something unbelievable. Okay, so what does Summerlees do? It says he seals. Obviously, it's talking. This is like old English, but it's got to be done in code as well. Like you would never know that this is going to obviously do this, but it's clever how this does it as well. He seals me rum. Okay, some code it uses rum instead. It's also the spirit in Ezekiel's wheels is the rum. This is again, it's not saying don't drink. He says don't drink strong drink, but obviously he seals me rum. Okay, what is rum? Well, rum is the shortened version of. Okay, so you've got the R-U-M, but it's also telling you who did it. It's Silu G. Who's the Silu? Silu is the Siluri, so short, it's an individual Silu, and his code is G. So obviously he says he seals me rum, Jerusalem, it's Silu G. So there's no doubt, and if I wanted to, you know, in reality now, if I wanted to put the secret H on there, and it says he seals me rum. Okay, so these are the first 2 coordinates of what I'm about to show you what it draws. Okay, the third coordinate, which is clearly in the middle, is Jerusalem, or Kaya went where I live. The current name for Kaya for where this is. This decoded big Roman fort with 60, well, in its day had 60-foot high walls, to put it in perspective, and there's some getting on for 30-foot walls still in existence on it. So this thing is not a small fort. Obviously, it's not about protection for when the time comes, nor is the hill fort. It's just placed. It's more of it's the RV point. That's why there was 7. It's seen RV. Obviously, it's a rendezvous point. We'll get protection from above. Trust me, I've seen a vision of that, which I'll get into on another video, because that even breaks that down as well. Okay, so the 4th place is because with these places, basically we've already got a bow there. This is going to make a bow again, another bow. But what it's doing, this is a Ryan code basically. So it's fired off to one way, and you follow it the line it's Mablethorpe, MLB the rope. That gives you one message. What this does is turns the same bow a different angle, down more sort of across, I think it is actually, and it obviously fires the bow, and then you fire it till you meet the target. Okay, so the 4th location is Carrow Hill, which is Sea Arrow Hill. Okay, it's the hill where you set the arrow, basically. There's your arrow. This is used as the word sea, which is an amazing code in all these little letters I use as well, but I'll get onto that again. Right, okay, so we got Carrow Hill. Right, let me just plot this bow up, and so you can see that these places, in fact, you can see it there. Right, what you've got is you've got Earlswood here, you've got G-Roos here, and you've got Summerlees here. So what we've got, bang, bang, is the bow. That's the bow. Carrow Hill sits somewhere, I think it's around here. Obviously the other bow, it sits, Hillswood's there. So the other bow would be firing up, well, it uses G-Roost, so it would be, oh, I don't know, it's somewhere up here. So it's firing up higher. Now it's firing different direction, but it's obviously still Orion's bow. Okay, then what you do is you connect this, hopefully, to that, and you've got your bow basically. Now the trick here is what you do is you follow, I draw the lines on the map, and then you've got a movable one now from the last position. And what I do is I line it up, I go across till I get to the point, which is an incredible point. And right, well, firstly, I'll tell you what this point is. Number 5, you couldn't make it up, is Beaconsfield. How did this all start? It started because I saw the light and be the recon beacon. Well, the beacon's the beacon's in the field, or field's beacon, because and here's where the amazing bit. To move this and line it up exact under there, I could not believe it when I looked in, and I strolled right in, and this sits directly, and I mean on my mother's garden where my caravan is. That's where the recon beacon is. My mother's house is there. There's the road, and that is to line it up to Beaconsfield. So yeah, so the beacon's the field, or the field's beacon, whichever, because I'm the beacon, and that's why my first opening break of light was be the recon beacon. Right, unbelievable, absolute pinpoint as well, all of that. And if you don't line it up, like I say, when I line it up, I zoomed right in on it, and it is pinpoint on top of where even to the point that is where I sort of live up this end. You couldn't make it up if you tried. So there we go. I found the recon beacon in the field. Right, on that note as well, when I thought this couldn't get any more spectacular, this one hit me, and I just, there's no way I'm making this up. Right, just to finish off. Right, Isaiah 30:17. But not only is IHASAE, obviously Isaiah, so it's me. Right, it says, quote unquote, as a beacon on top of a mountain. So that's where it all stems from, exactly where it is. As a beacon on top of a mountain, and an ensign it says an N. I'm going to leave a gap, but that's what it says, on a hill. Right, to break this one, you need to go. I think I've already done it, but Clanfair. Right, there's a place called Clan Fair. Clan Fair is the clan of the Pharaohs. This links with Worcester as well, which is Road Secret. So it's the Clan Fair Road Secret. But regardless, there's 2 codes in this, because cleverly, what this used to be called until recent, 68 I think, was Llanfair Iscoed. So what they did, they added a D. So Clanfair, so the first set of codes, this is all planned out. The first is Llanfair Iscoed, and if you go back to other videos, it shows you all the breaking up of the codes to make this the point for Orion, the constellation Orion on the star on the place. But what it does, and cleverly, well, if you take if you put the D in, it actually says D is code. And this place, Llanfair Iscoed, is right next to where the key 4 is, literally. There it is, and Llanfair Iscoed is down sort of this area. But what he's done to give you, to code this in, all you do is use this D is code, and you put it in there. And then you've got an N sign. Well, let's move that over just so we make it clear. By putting the D into the ensign on the hill, what you get is an ensign on a hill. Well, if this is the ultimate safe area, and it's on the hill, it's a hill fort. So never mind all the me keys and everything else around it. As you can clearly see, this passage in the Bible was designed to show you the holy mountain, which is the Recon Beacon. This is where Moses followed the Recon Beacon, come up out of Cornwall, basically, go wandering around, I don't know, wherever he went, and end up on there. He followed a pillar of light, whatever, you know, that obviously he was following by, I don't know, day or night or clouds or something. I'm not sure, but ultimately you can see this ties exactly with Wales and everything that is coming. But he says at the rebuke of 1, at the rebuke of 5 or something, they would be left as a beacon on top of a mountain, Brecon Beacon, and an ensign, but you just pop the the D in to make it an ensign on a hill. There we go. That's the code in that. Okay, people, like I say, please, you can. There is no way this is coincident, guys and girls. I've had a long journey to get to this point. And as I say, there's code coming in from all angles, and it's making sentences as well. It's not making like, well, I've got a ton of code from Cornwall even, which tells, I haven't even got round to any of this. Florida, I was going to do the Florida keys, but I didn't make this video too long because the last 2 hour one, it wouldn't upload. But I, you know, I'm not one of faith. I don't, you know, faith. I don't do faith. But if this, and what Yar's doing, he's putting it out there and he's woken me up. And there's no, you know, it's not coincidence. It really is not coincidence. And I've started actually in fact, no, I'll leave it on this one. But basically, the title, whatever the title is for this job, you know, there's obviously, I decoded the H, Messiah and everything else, and there's so many questions I need answering as well, and I don't even how this is all possible. Now, and what's more, it's not even decoding this stuff, it's how quickly I do it. And I'm not clever, believe me, I'm not. I was actually playing a word game last night and I realised how poor I am at actually getting, you know, making words, you know, one of them sort of wordscape or something is called, and I'm not even good at it. I regularly got to use clues. So how can I pull out this code and even understand these things, and how quick, and never mind being able to do it, how do I find it so quickly? And I'm not, you know, I'm a genuine person. I'm not, like I say, I'm not led by faith. I'm not stupid, but I'm not, you know, I've got no academic qualifications particularly, or well, or what they called CSEs, the old version, and even they're average. You know, it's not like I'm clever, but how do I do this? I do it because well, you know, you've seen the last one, Palma, Mallorca. Marco led all a map, and it's not kidding. I have been led literally. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it, guys and girls. What I will say is, if you're watching this, this really is the most important message. You can, if you're not convinced by the first, just go back 3 or 4 videos, or 5 or 6, and you'll see that I've encoded things that have never, you know, in an instant, that have never been decoded since they were put there in, you know, meeny tekel up farsing. Incredibly as well. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it says unmap 10. Seek Melon here. Well, before I even uncoded that, and the only way I knew how to decode it was because it highlighted the word map, and the minute I got map, they all fell into place. Well, I don't know if you can see this, but this is on my map. Not only it's not exactly to scale the drawing, but as you can see, there's a tent with the flaps open, 2 to the side. I've highlighted them. You've got the fish's tail, but this all comes on. Whoop, hang on, let me get you centre. This all comes in, but there's, right, it says, your king, in Daniel, it says, he's explaining this meeny to King Nebuchadnezzar. Obviously, it's like, I don't know whether it's replaying history or it's just code, but it says, your kingdom has been numbered. Well, that's exactly what, and I'd already done this. I'd worked out who the lost tribes were, and I'd numbered them on a map. And then I get the code, unmap 10, seek Melon here. Well, just to put it in perspective, this is where Melon, somewhere around here, Melon, this is Land Melon, the key fort to everything. So you can see, guys, this is not, you know, and it says, and your kingdom has been found wanting. Well, firstly, the River Severn used to be the Sabbath, and they've obviously changed it. Secondly, there's no his rule, or his rule, which also relates to the seven. Well, his rule is Siluri H. And thirdly, and written in there, and most importantly of all, what's missing is, and I'll show you this one, what's missing, and it's right off that map, because what's it called? And this is why the secret spelling of his name as well. This says, no Yahweh. That's what, you know, your kingdom has been found wanted. And this is the end of Babylon. And he tells them this. And then Babylon falls quickly. There's a lot more to Babylon as well. I'm already releasing some of the Babylon. But I'll get into that, because Babylon is well, it's centered at London. I can assure you they're the main culprits of the Babylon. And the Babel is on the Middle East. It's written in Israel, with all these places, in places they shouldn't be. But the kingdom of Babylon is obviously a lot bigger, but the centre of it is Britain. Then you've got, like, the, you know, the lawyers, and which is Rome, as tied in with the three. Washington DC, I think it is a city of its own. It got its own rules. That's Egypt. Rome is obviously Rome, and Canaan is London, basically, and the original, somewhere where the original early baby lion. That's what it also is, indicating that it was like there was obviously some kingdom there, but even that was Welsh. I know that sounds bizarre, but this is what this is all about. This is why it keeps coming back. It's about the reinstating of the true bloodline and everything else that goes with it. Anyway, remember, this is, I know it's going to be hard for people to swallow, but in God we trust. And they've got pyramids and the Eye of Horus all over their false dollar bill. Well, the same people who are worshipping Amen Ra and saying Amen and calling him God are the same. They're worshipping the same God as the Vatican. And their symbology is full of sun. They've tricked you into believing, into worshipping the sun god. Well, the son of God is the sun god, or it's Jesus. Basically, is Horus. He's just dressed in different clothes. Amazingly, the story of Horus, just in case anyone doesn't know, which predates the biblical story, although when it was, all this was written. Sorry. The biblical Horus was born on the 25th of December, was born of a virgin, turned water into wine, walked on water, raised some guy from the dead that sounds very, very similar to Lazarus, and was ultimately crucified. So you tell me, where that story is clearly where it's come from, and we have been tricked into worshipping. Our prayers are going to this, to go into Amen Ra. That's why we say, that's why they've got to say an Amen, and then it's all mimicked in the dollar. They're mocking us. I can tell you that now. The real creator, he did turn his back on us because the Siluri's messed up, but obviously in Yah's time and space. He's only turned for a moment and he's come back. But obviously in the meantime, we've had all this. They've taken advantage. The shepherds that were supposed to keep us on the right track or do their best to, basically have led us astray. Unbelievable. But anyway, this is the name. Call on him. Don't pray. Don't be prey. Don't bow down. Don't put your palms together, because that's where your sins are. You're hiding them. And this is what they got you doing. What you need to do is put your palms up to heaven, stand in the letter Y, which is also the mocking when they put in, so you know who on a cross, because they crucify you. The name it's mocker. That's blasphemy, I'm afraid, people. And there's more to come on this, trust me. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Please, people, share this video. It's just the greatest message of all time. I'm blessed to do it. How I got here, I've given everything up to do it, and I really am glad that I did. As hard as it is, and as hard as it's been, because I'm not comfortable where I am, but I needed to be in my caravan to decode this to show exactly where this beacon sits, because I'm the beacon calling you all in. And when you lay a beacon, you've usually done your recon, set your targets in military terms. And then you wait, and then you get back to your safe zone, set a beacon on it so your own troops don't hit you, basically. And I know it sounds bizarre, but that's what it is. This is I'm the beacon to the safe zone, and like I say, you could not construct all this without. Well, you just couldn't. No human can. Anyway, take care, guys and girls. I'll be back soon with more videos. Yes, blessings to you.